Hello everybody, welcome to the Friday night live stream. This is the Aquarium Adventures live stream, which is normally on a Friday night. Last week we did it a bit differently on a Saturday, but we're back. Normal service has resumed. Let me know if you can hear me, let me know if you can see me. While I ramble about, I shall just check the chat and see who's joined us already. We've got Rocky's first. Every week I think you're first. Got to get some kind of special award made up for you. Congratulations for being first every week. Carrie Ann Durant, close second. Chief Mod Jennifer, good evening everyone. Who else feels like they're living in Beirut tonight? I was just thinking that. Off to my right hand side I've got like 3 Velux windows and I keep seeing flashes and bangs and the odd firework hits the windows, which is nice. But it does feel like a little bit like a war zone, and I'm a little bit unprepared because I've been out creating my own little mini war zone as well. So we had some fireworks in the back garden, lit a fire in the fire pit, and had fish and chips, and we're in a kind of high up elevated position in Sheffield, so we could see over the whole of Sheffield and can see everybody else's fireworks displays as well. It's really good. Have to have some kind of fireworks party next November. In the Aquarium Adventures world, you can all come up, well, maybe not everybody. That'd be a bit weird, inviting randoms from the internet to come and see another random on the internet. But it's quite spectacular watching thousands of fireworks going off at once. Silver Surfer's in, Urban Hafner's here, GB, Phil's in. Jennifer thinks every garden around her is having a party. Yeah, it feels a little bit like that as well. Slightly out of focus. Are we slightly out of focus? No, we can't have that. There we go, we'll go fully out of focus. Is that better? My eyes aren't that bad. That kind of looks like we're in focus. Discus Addiction is here. I've not seen that name before. The mic is in focus, the head is not. Alright, well. Is that better? That should be better. I don't know. Close enough, close enough. Don Ransom, Vince Ransom tuning in from work. Soren, evening all. Why fireworks? Why fireworks? It's the 5th of November. Remember the 5th of November. My daughter asked me this earlier on. She said, Dad, why do we do fireworks? Something to do with some old guy who tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament, failed. I don't know whether we set off fireworks to rub his nose in it in his memory because he was a failure, or to celebrate a near miss. I'm not sure. I must look that up one day and find it out properly. I mean, I did this at school and everything. But yeah, so Guy Fawkes had a plot to blow up the Houses of Parliament in London. Gunpowder, treason and plot and all that kind of stuff. So he and a bunch of people all conspired and they filled some tunnels underneath the Houses of Parliament with gunpowder. But it didn't work. He got caught, or someone grassed him in. I can't quite remember exactly why it happened. So we have Guy Fawkes night and we set off a load of fireworks to go, haha, see how easy it is, Guy Fawkes? You could have killed the government. Or, oh, unlucky Guy Fawkes. Not quite sure which way it falls. Let me know in the comments. But anyway, so the 5th of November, we have bonfires, we have fireworks. That's why. I can't think of any better explanation than that. In fact, shall we look it up? 5th November fireworks. This is showing. I think I'm usually quite educated. But I can't remember why we have the 5th of November. Oh, let's look up Guy Fawkes. Ooh. Guy Fawkes night. Oh, that's quite good. Look at this. I'm going to have to do this from scratch again, actually. Let's transition over here. If you go on Google and type in Guy Fawkes night, Google gives you some fireworks on the page. So, bonfire night, Guy Fawkes night, fireworks night. It's an annual commemoration. There we go. A commemoration for the gunpowder treason plot. If Wikipedia is to be believed, and I'm sure it's pretty good for this kind of stuff. 1605, Guy Fawkes, a member of the Gunpowder Plot, was arrested while guarding the explosives the plotters had placed beneath the House of Lords, Houses of Parliament. That's it, there you go. Celebrating the fact King James had survived the attempt on his life, people lit bonfires around London, and months later the introduction of the observance of the 5th of November Act enforced an annual public day of thanksgiving for the plot's failure. So there you go. We're celebrating the fact that they didn't blow up the House of Lords. But that's now turned into little scroats will hang around outside supermarkets with a blow-up doll saying, penny for the guy, because they have to go and buy firewood. I don't really get it. An excuse to party and get drunk. Well, it's not really a drinking thing. It's more of a family thing. So normally villages and towns, well, certainly everywhere I've lived, the local village will have a fireworks display or a bonfire. Strangely, the one round here, they're having it tomorrow. I don't quite get that. But they have a big fire, have some fireworks, everyone comes and goes, ooh, ah. And then 50% of the people piss and moan because their pets get upset, and 50% of the people say, stop pissing and moaning about your pets getting upset, it's only one day a year. And then it turns out it's not one day a year, because it's about 5 days either side of that one day a year, which is a bit annoying. Certainly, I don't know if it's like in other towns, but in Sheffield, explosions all week, and I'm sure there'll be explosions all weekend as well. But that's why it happens. Hope that makes sense to everybody. See, education, not just about fish. As Jennifer says, the last honest man to enter Westminster, Guy Fawkes. Sean Williams with a fishy question. I'm on to old wife beater, I'm afraid. No proper decent beers. Sean Williams, do you wish more freshwater fish keepers saw the benefits of a sump? Well, let's break this down. I think sumps are great, and I think they are fantastic things, and I would always recommend them. But, I mean, I don't wish more people used them, because they're a very... Well, they're not niche, but they're a... Well, I suppose niche is the right word. A kind of niche application. You don't need to have, but they're generally used for bigger tanks, where you have a big tank in a big cabinet and a big space underneath. Not all tanks have the appropriate layout to facilitate a sump, but if you can get one in there, I would always say they're great things to use. Great benefits. They extend the water volume of your aquarium. They give you a place to hide your equipment, so you can get heaters, and if you're doing CO2 and all that good stuff, that can all go in the sump and leave your display tank for displaying things. They can give you a good place to dose medications and fertilizers. Anything you want to add to the tank, you can add it to the sump, which gives it a good chance to get all mixed up and distributed evenly throughout the tank. I know a lot of people seem to worry about adding ferts to the tank, because, and I've seen this happen myself, you add some ferts and all the fish go, oh, I'll swim into that. They don't do that, but that's kind of what I'm imagining they're doing. But if you do it in the sump, then it gets spread around dead easily. Like I say, it raises the water volume, so the total water volume. The more water in an aquarium, the easier it is to control the parameters of the aquarium. So, great things. Loads of space for media, loads of oxygenation, because the overflows falling into the sump and then being pumped back in gives loads of chance for oxygenation of the water. So, benefit. The only downsides I can see is they take up a lot of room. Because they generally tend to be larger than something like a canister filter. But yeah, I guess I wish more people didn't rule them out immediately as being marine things. I guess that's probably how I would phrase it, but they're definitely good. All these bonfires helping warm the planet. Well, that was what was on the news earlier. Not the bonfires, but the fireworks. Oh, there's lots of harmful chemicals and we're polluting the air quality. I think that is a little bit, personally, it's probably scientifically true, but personally, one day a year, how much can it hurt? I know some animals are really, 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 really badly stressed by this, and that is something, I wish you could get silent fireworks, but I do like the ones that go bang. I don't know. I'm not here to solve the world's fireworks problems. cocaine and heroin. Should we be worried? About what? Where does it say cocaine and heroin? Oh, the... right, okay. So down here, this is... My wife's a teacher. So, well, I'm assuming this is what it's to do with. So she uses my PC every now and again to do stuff. So we've got worksheets on cocaine and heroin and marijuana and things like that. Not for my own personal consumption, this. I assume that's what she's doing. Maybe she started her own little business. Nicotine. Yeah, no, that's what that is. Sorry. Imagine a tiny 5-litre sump for a 60-litre tank. I mean, I don't think that's a terrible idea. I once tried, those little 12-litre tanks you get. You probably don't, Soren, because you don't live in this country. But there's a shop here called B&M, or it might be Home Bargains, that used to sell 12-litre aquariums for like £6 or something like that. And they were great for little shrimp tanks and stuff, and I had loads of them. And I used one of them as a sump for that aquarium for a short time. I'm sure I've got a video on it somewhere. And it was great. It was big enough to fit the heater in, big enough to fit a load of media in, and didn't have to have an internal filter or anything for this. The only thing I like about fireworks is the smell. My goodness. We had a little fireworks display and a little... I'm absolutely reeking at the moment of smoke because we had a wee fire pit. And I'm one of those people that the smoke follows no matter where I stand. So if I move around, the smoke follows me around. And I wouldn't say I like the smell. No. Oh, I've got some COP26 going on in Glasgow this week. I know, I've had my gran on the phone complaining about it. I think some of the protesters have used her street to congregate and get ready to go. She's like, if I was driving these days, I'd be out of there telling them off for stopping me getting around. Which she doesn't, so... Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I wish I'd seen some of it. Hopefully, I'm only seeing the news, but I have friends who post on Facebook and places like that about their experiences of what they've seen out there from both sides of the coin, I guess. But I don't want to get all political, but doesn't it make us look like a bunch of... We can't even stay awake for the first day of the bleeding summit. Our Prime Minister showing us how we do. But anyway. Sean says, I just switched to reef tanks and it wasn't until now that I realised all the benefits of a sump. I wish I could go back and use them during my freshwater days. Well, I've used sumps for years for my freshwater tanks. It's one of my most popular videos is about my freshwater sump. Yeah, they're great things. You want a 60-gallon sump for a 5-gallon tank. Yeah, no reason your sump can't be bigger than your tank. How does she know so much about them? You'd have to ask her. Do mermaids get ick? No. There you go. Classic FM doing shows tonight and tomorrow dedicated to relaxing pets if it helps anybody's woofers. I've heard that, yeah. That is a good, just turning the radio up full blast. That seems to help. My dogs don't seem to be too bothered. As I can tell with them both laid flat out, fast asleep through all the banging and crashing that's going on outside. I don't think my cat likes it much, but the dogs don't seem too bothered. Anyway, what have we got planned for this evening? As usual, nothing. Am I off centre? What's going on here? Do I need to go over this way a wee bit? I had big plans to... Let me see if I can show you some of this. I bought myself a little desk extension here, so I had big plans to put the camera over there, facing this way, so you'd see me, and then I'd have all that as the background, and I was going to put that aquarium over there, so as I could answer last week's criticisms of not having an aquarium as my background. But I ran out of time. I couldn't find the lead long enough to move the camera over there, so you're going to have to put up with another week of this angle. So I put the empty aquarium over there, so you can have at least had a go at putting an aquarium in the background. So if you can tell, this was the aquarium that was in my old office. I've given it a bit of a clean. So this will probably be in the next video of me setting this up as an office aquarium again. I'm really undecided what I'm going to put in it. I just don't know. It's not going to live there because that can't support the weight of an aquarium, but that's just there for talking purposes. So I'm going to get that probably set up. That's a little ornament in there. If you can see it, that's from... See if I can focus it. Hey! I'm going to base it around that ornament. So that was something that was gifted to me by Fishman Aquatics. Big shout out to Fishman Aquatics. Go and check out their website and shop if you haven't before. So I'm going to base a scape around that. And I've not really thought about it any more than that. So we shall see what I end up doing. I'll just put myself out of focus again, haven't I? Come on, Graham, you can do it. Oh, no. Close enough. So we're going to... maybe shrimp. I might use it again as a CPD tank and get a load of CPDs or pea puffers, but no, maybe not pea puffer. I don't know. So if you've got any ideas, by all means, let me know in any of the places. In fact, a good place would be the Discord. We'll do the little bit of admin. If you want to, if you're on Tinterwebs but you don't like Facebook or any of those things, join our Discord server and you can join a burgeoning community of like-minded people. None of this, your tank's too small, you're doing it wrong, rah, rah, rah. It's all very helpful people there. And if they aren't, let me know and we'll sort them out. But yeah, jump on, join us, share pictures of your aquarium, and share pictures of yourself if you want. If you buy any Aquarium Adventures merch, such as the good old cock t-shirt, I'd like to see some pictures of you and your stuff. And then we can all have a look at it. But yeah, I'm really looking for ideas of what kind of scape to use. But I want to, that thing there sat on my shelf for the best part of a year now. So I'm going to get it in a tank and get it used. My big woofer is puking, shaking and terrified, and the pup is snoozing. I know it does. Dogs are weird. My dogs don't care. And my dogs are the least doggiest dogs ever. I don't know what I mean by that. Triangular composition with that on one side, possibly. I'm definitely not going to just plonk it in the middle. I'm thinking that as the only wood piece, probably. But raising it up a bit, and quite a lot of rock and hardscapes, so different sized rocks. And smashing up some rocks to make some rubble, just to make it a little bit more natural. It's kind of screaming tree and make it a tree, but I kind of like it quite bare, but I don't know. I don't know. Check out that like button working. Is it working? How many people have we got? We've got 38 people and only 14 likes. Come on, folks. So all you have to do is click that like button. I would have bought my Canister media off you, but you're sold out. I am sold out. I do apologise. I hear people are putting Monte Carlo on these fake tree stumps. Really? I wouldn't have thought to do that. I'll have to have a look at that. I've done it. I've done trees with like moss balls and broken up moss balls to make them. I've done them with Java moss, and that it's fine. I want to try something a little bit different this time. I'm thinking of keeping it as like a kind of autumnal scene. It might be a tree that's lost its leaves, and make it more of a hardscape than a planted tank. But I don't know if that's going to look good. So I might just buy a big bunch of plants and see how I get on. Most of my approaches to aquascaping, if you've watched any of my videos, are I get a load of stuff and just keep messing about with it and eventually go, yeah, I'm happy with that. I very rarely do I come at it with a plan. So this is as close as I've got to a plan of saying I want to base it around that, because I really like that little ornament. It's really good. But I think I'm going to build it up so as that is touching the top. I'm saying all this, I also had another idea of having loads of wood that comes quite high out of the tank and having all kind of plants that come out of the tank and go all over the wood, you know, like I've done with pothos in the past. And having almost like a paludarium but just with a tank. Because I was looking at some am I saying that right? Paludarium? I was kind of looking at some of them and doing that kind of thing, but I thought for the time being I'll just sort that out. Right, someone's asking me questions. Sorry, I'll try and get back. Beamer and Mercedes asking me about pea puffers. Okay, Beamer and Mercedes, my pea puffers lost colour. What do you think happened? The Cories are in the same tank and are fine. I don't know. This is where I'm trying to think of reasons why fish or pea puffers especially would lose colour. It's usually going to be something that's saying I'm not happy about something. So just because you've got cories in the tank and they're fine doesn't mean that the water parameters are fine. Some fish will tolerate things better than others. So you're generally looking at water conditions or diet. So what are you feeding them? If they're eating well, if they're active and hunting, then it's probably not diet. They could be some other environmental issues. So what else have we got in the tank? Say cories, there might be something else that they're just not happy sharing a tank with. It's generally a sign that they're not happy, but the challenge or the exam question is, what is it that they're not happy with? So trying to figure it out so as you can change it. But yeah, join us on Discord and tell us a bit more about your tank. And we've got lots of people in there that can help us out. Try and figure out what's going on, what's going wrong. Pardon me. Where did we get to? Aquatic Jack says, hello. Did I miss someone telling me they were from Doncaster? Usually someone's told me that by now. There he is, NJW. Hi from Doncaster. Hi from Sheffield. Looks like you tie guppy grass on it and make it a hedge type plant. Yeah, I mean, there are definitely options to not even tie anything to it. It's really like prickly and stickily. We could get some kind of moss and make it look really good there, but I don't know. I'm wondering like a tree that's been struck by lightning in a field of plants. So maybe make everything else really green except the tree and the rocks. Or some kind of volcanic scene, or I don't know. I'll probably just throw something together soon. I'm considering getting all my plants out because of the algae issue, but we have babies just now and they're surviving because they have cover. Yep, it's a tricky one, that. Hello, Courtney. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Apologies for being late. We've had a disaster at the shop. I heard. So you got a power cut. Hopefully that's getting sorted and everything's back on track. Do you have a go-to brand for canister filters? I do, Fluval. That's not an objective answer. It's just I like them. I've always used them. Always been fine with them. Never had problems with them. I think they're reasonably priced. I think they're reasonably well designed and well made. They're just my go-to answer. But without any other considerations, that's where I would start. Take that as read. I'm not paid by Fluval to tell you anything. There are objectively better filters. So your Eheims might last a bit longer or be a little bit better quality or a bit better capacity in some cases. But I've always been happy with Fluval. I'm considering doing a switcheroo from a built-in dual internal to an external, but also slightly concerned about flooding the living room. That shouldn't be a concern. So I'm a man who has flooded just about every room I've ever had a fish tank in, and very rarely is it to do with the filter. So this shouldn't be any more concerning than an internal filter getting something stuck in it and spraying something out the tank. Or no, you should be fine. Pardon me. But there's lots of horses for courses. It depends what you want to use, what space you've got, what you can fit in. So if you want to keep it in a cabinet, for instance, lots of the bigger Fluval filters won't actually fit in cabinets for the smaller to medium-sized tanks. So you might be looking for one of the smaller ranges, like a 306 or a 206. But yeah, I've always recommended Fluvals, and I've always liked them. Urban with a suggestion for Chris to add some black mollies. They're really good at eating hair algae. I have heard that from several sources. Something I've never sorted and something I've never used or tried. I don't think I've ever kept a molly. I might have had one once. But yeah, that might be an option for me as well one day. I'm obviously missing a conversation here. Michael Macho's the hardest man in London from back in the day. What are we on about? What are we on about? What do you know about the governor? Lenny McLean? The governor? Like kind of bouncer slash bare knuckle boxer turned doorman turned actor? That's what I know about him. Sorry, just have to put up with my stupid face while I try and read some of these comments. What do you know about the governor? Was watching a movie on the hardest man in London from the 80s and 90s. Well, that's all I know about the governor. I'm afraid, sorry. Courtney has two FX4s in her big tank at home because bigger FX canisters won't fit in her cabinet. Yeah, the FX5 and 6s are big old beasts, as are the equivalent Eheim ones. Once you get into the big canisters, they tend to be bigger than the cabinet manufacturers will allow for. Unless you have a custom cabinet, obviously, then you should be fine. Yes, right. I was going to dip into our Discord server so we can show you all about it, because there is a section in there where you can make suggestions for what you want to see and talk about in the live stream. And for the last few weeks I've been meaning to do that, but not actually doing it. So, rather than just beg you and say, well, come and join the Discord server, let's have a look at it, shall we? So, you should, when you get in, land on, I don't know where you land actually, to be honest, the rules page probably. So your general fare there, oh, my face is in the way, isn't it? But no isms, no spamming, self-promotion only in the right, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. But then you get in here to introductions, say hello to people. There you go, Sharpie, my god, you've made it onto Discord. I thought you didn't have the technical capability. Congratulations, you've made it to Discord. But you can come in here, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're into, what you keep. It doesn't have to be about fish. And then we have all these text channels down here. So generally you can talk about anything you want to, share your pictures, talk about fish, talk about shrimp, talk about equipment, ask questions. If you're a YouTuber, if you make YouTube videos or are trying to maybe start a channel, let us know, because we will assign you the role of YouTuber. I've lost the power of speech already. We will assign you the role of YouTuber, and then you'll see this special section called YouTubers, which you can't see again because of my face. Hang on, I'm going to move my coupon so as I'm out the way a little bit. There we go, that's better. Oh, am I completely out the way? There we go, that's better. Pardon me. So you'll see this section down the bottom called YouTubers, where you can ask about how to do settings or ideas, or maybe ideas for collaborations, or talk about some of the tools that you're using and all that good stuff. Analytics, if you want help analysing your analytics and finding out how things are working. If you join the channel as a member or as a hero member, you get 10% off at my online shop. So any foods or merch or anything like that, in here you'll find the discount codes for them. So hero members get the special 10% discount code, and then all that good stuff. But in here there is one where, if I can find it, got here we go, live stream topic ideas. Oh no, we did do this. My memory, because I remember that one from Urban from a couple of weeks ago. Here we go. Dealing with problem fish, the nippers, the fighters, and the big bully. And why do fish jump out of your aquarium? For the banter, says Scoop. There you go. There's a good couple of topics. That's quite good. So let's talk about them. Why not? If I go on, I forgot to use my screen. There we go. So big face, back on big face. Daniel, hello from Australia. Hello. You're definitely winning the furthest away viewer tonight. And Chow with Lau are all Sumps DIY, or can you buy them off the shelf, so to speak? You can definitely buy them pre-made. You'll rarely find them in fish shops or aquatic shops, like you will find tanks for sale. But you can definitely get them made. A lot of custom places will make Sumps, and there are lots on the market. So if you look on eBay and places like that, you'll see lots of Sumps. But yeah, they're a little harder to find in mainstream big box stores and things like that, but you should be alright. And DIY is a really good way to go. It's a really good way to start messing about with stuff. Haven't heard coupon for a while. A great Scottish word. Yes, for those of you who are not Scottish, this is my coupon. Right, so what was the question? Dealing with problem fish, the nippers, the fighters, and the big bully. Again, as I'll preface all of these discussions as I do, this is me talking. I am not an expert in anything. So this is my experience or my thought process that's leading me to say these things. So don't take it as advice necessarily. Take it as another opinion, because it is only my opinion. I can be wrong, and often am. Nippers, I think, if we separate the nippers, fighters, and the big bully. So nippers, that's just got to be stocking. Nippers are nippers. That's in their blood. When it's things like betta fish, or Siamese fighting fish, or Japanese fighting fish, whatever you want to call them, they have personalities. So you'll get one that'll nip anything. You'll get one that'll ignore anything. But there are some fish, in my experience, like generally your barbs and things like that, that will, if they see something that they can nip, they will nip it. Normally, people would put pea puffers in that category, but I've kept 2 separate batches of pea puffers. That's really hard to say. Pea puffers. The first batch were nippers, and they nipped everything. Second batch weren't, so I could keep them with other fish, and they didn't bother them at all. I was trying to figure out whether or not that was because of the way I was treating them. So if I was keeping them well fed, for instance, was that what was stopping them chasing the other fish and nipping them? But I just didn't have them long enough to figure that out. So that was kind of my thought process on that was there. So there are some fish that you might be able to do that sort of thing with, whether you can keep up your feeding, if you can make sure the environment doesn't predispose them to chase other fish and start nipping. But things like barbs, I have found just nip. That's in their blood, if you like, that they'll go and do that. The fighters and the big bully are slightly easier because you can control that to a degree. Again, choose your stocking wisely. Don't pick things that are going to cause you problems, but if you pick things that might cause you problems, you can step in and do some things. So from the way you set the tank up, it might be the way you decorate the tank. Have lots of hidey holes, big ornaments, big plants, so you can break up the sight lines. So if you have quite a bare tank and you have fish that might fight, if they can see each other all the time, they're there seething, going, that bloody fish over there, I'm going to get that. If it can't see it 24/7, there's less chance of it getting irritated by it 24/7, and then you've got a chance of nipping anything in the bud. If things are fighters, African cichlids, for instance, if it is a stocking issue and there aren't enough fish in there, that's when the fighters moves into the bullies, and a fish can get picked on. So you might want to put more and more fish in there to spread the aggression. You'll hear that term, spread the aggression, over and over on YouTube videos. That definitely does work. Even in the discus world, for instance, that's why I always recommend keeping 6 discus as a minimum, because that's kind of the minimum that one won't get it in the neck constantly. Still happens, and my advice then is, well, get 8 then, or 10 or more. So that's how you might do that. So when I keep discus, I've never kept discus in like the 20s or 30s in a tank. I've always kept quite small numbers. Might change that in the future, but I've always had scapes that had broken up sight lines, so fish can get away from fish. they're not constantly in the line of fire, so to speak. So that might be another way to do it. And the big bullies, so I don't have much experience of this. I'm thinking things like flower horns and things that are just like, whatever comes in my tank, I'm having it. I don't think there is an answer for that one. It's got to be separation. I mean, it could be dividers and things like that. It would allow you to keep fish in the same tank. But yeah, generally it's, no, that fish is going to have to live alone. I tried to keep fish with my flower horn and he was fine for a little while. And then turned, as everyone said it would. And it did. Same with, I'm talking rubbish. I've never kept any other fish with my flower horn. I've kept fish with my Fahaka puffer. And it was fine for a long time, and then turned. That's what I meant. So, again, keeping them well fed, keeping the environment as comfortable as possible so as they never feel the need to chase fish. You could probably get away with that for a long time. So, each to their own. That's what I think on that. Let me know how you deal with aggression's one way of... aggression can be manipulated, but if that fish has a mean streak, or it's the way the fish is, there's only so much you can do as yourself. So let's see if anyone's got any comments. Jimothy, thanks. I'm not sure I trust myself with drilling tanks though. Drilling tanks is easy. I've made several videos about me drilling tanks, and as long as you take my advice, don't put it on the hammer mode. That never ends well. Make sure you're on drill. Start slow. Keep it moist. It's hard to go wrong with drilling tanks as long as you don't do the stupid stuff that I have done in the past. A good tip is... I used to use chopping boards for this, like plastic chopping boards where I'd pre-drill the chopping board out and then gaffer tape it to the tank. So because if it's really hard to handheld to drill a tank to get it started, because it just skates all over the tank and you end up scratching all your glass. So I used to use chopping boards to make like a guide so as it would all stay in the same place. And then I switched to polystyrene after a while, just because it was easier to make the guide, and that works just as well. But some kind of guide to get you started. But then once you're in, just drill, keep it slow and steady, light pressure, stop regularly to scoosh it down with water and make sure it doesn't burn up. Yeah, slow and steady wins the race in the case of drilling. The other thing is to make sure you're not trying to drill tempered glass or some kind of safety glass or something like that, because that ends in tears as well. There you go, Courtney's linking to a video. Hopefully that will be one of mine how to drill a tank videos. In the case of Mbuna, that's one of my favourite words to say, Mbuna, aggression is dealt with by overstocking. In fact, here's a YouTube video idea for you, Graham. Setting up your Mbuna tank. Mine are breeding like mad. If you want free Mbuna, I'll let you know. I definitely do want to try some cichlids. So yeah, I might be in touch about that one. Phil's in again. I think I said hello, Phil, didn't I? Hopefully. My chat seems to be stuck, so I can't scroll down. There you go. Phil's giving you the same advice. Do a template to guide your drill. Generally, the best way. Yeah, it is definitely. It's one of those things that just it seems more daunting than it actually is when you try and drill a tank. Definitely it's worth a practice. If you get an old tank or a cheap one off Facebook Marketplace and you ask for the best price, hopefully you can give it a go. Hello, Graham, says Maple Street Aquatics. Hello, sir. How are you? Hope you're well. For those of you that are just joining, if you do hear any explosions, it's Friday the 5th of November in the UK. Bonfire night, fireworks night. Wow, there's a really big one there. There's a big window over to my right so I can see all the fireworks. I should have done this outside so you can see it. So if you hear any explosions, it's alright. There's not a war going on outside. It's just the fireworks. Phil's chuffed with my new disc. I've never met anyone who's never been chuffed with a new discus tank. It's kind of the best thing you can ever do in the fish keeping world, get a discus tank. And I won't hear anyone, I'll fight anyone that says any different. Just with my new discus tank, it's been years since I've had them. Which, in your opinion, are the best? Martin Ung, Wild, Stinker, etc. So I've never kept any true wild, I must admit, but I have kept Martin Ung, I've kept some stinkers, I've kept some other Asian domestics from, I've had fish from Chen's, so those in the UK will know about Chen's discus. I really like my current ones, so maybe I'm biased, so I'm going to say that. So I would say Martin Ung. I'm really happy with them. They're some of the best, cleanest, clearest ones I've ever seen. Stinkers, no problem with stinkers. They have some of my favourite strains in the stinkers. I really like some of them. And they seem to be a bit hardier. I mean, that's what people will always say this. They're a bit hardier than the rest, but I know, for instance, Chen's discus, they keep theirs in just straight old tap water, and then we're here faffing about with HMA filters and water softeners and RO and all that kind of stuff. But my current ones, I think they're pretty good. They're Martin Ung from Corbin Discus. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend them, and I've dealt with Tim for many, many years now. Tim at Corbin Discus. Definitely worth the look, and if you do have a look, tell him I sent you. I might get a discount on my next order. You never know. So I think it's all very personal preference, shall we say, of what's the best discus. It's beauty is in the eye of the beholder. If you like your fish, then they're the best ones, and that's generally the way to go. Wilds, obviously, they're kind of a different category because they are wild fish, especially true wild that are caught in the wild. Regardless of your opinions on whether or not we should be keeping wild caught fish in the hobby, they are absolutely fantastic. And yeah, that might be another future plan. A good drilling, keep it wet, steady pressure. What are you talking about, Scoob? Oh. That's like one of those memes, things you can say in an aquarium live stream and in the bedroom. Paul Horrocks, I've just moved a crib to a quarantine tank. It has a damaged mouth and was gasping. Parameters all okay and tank mate's okay. Any suggestions on a general med to use? We'll post a pic to Discord tomorrow. Yeah, let's have a look at the pictures because that's always useful. A video even more useful if you can get a short video and have a look at it. It really depends on the level of damage. So if it's not too bad, just moving it to a quarantine tank and giving it plenty of fresh water, that's probably the best thing and will cure 90% of all ailments. Good clean water and a little bit of respite if it's a damaged mouth from fighting, for instance. Fish are really resilient, especially little I forgot the word, little cichlids. That wasn't the word I was going to use, but let's go with that. Especially little dwarf fish like that, because they are little fighters. They get into scrapes, they have little ruts every now and again, and they tend to be really quite hardy. So if it's from fighting, a bit of a break and some clean water will do it good. Lots of people will say things like, oh, use Pimafix or Melafix. I really don't like products that have fix in the title of them because they tend to be the fishy aquatic of homeopathy. But if it's really bad, then yes, we might be able to suggest some kind of antifungal. If it's really, let's have some looks at pictures. I always hesitate before giving out advice on medications and things because how I interpret your question might be very different to what you're actually trying to say, and then someone else sees this video weeks later and applies the same logic to, they misinterpret what I'm saying and we end up killing a bunch of fish, and we don't want that. Yeah, as Courtney's saying, Phil, have you seen any pictures of this on Discord? I want to see some pictures. I'm never going to turn down an opportunity to have a look at some discus. I'm sorry if you can hear that noise. That's my middle son who has learnt to whistle. much to the dismay of the rest of the household. We're back to discus versus anglefish, aren't we? I'm going to run that again. I'm going to make sure that we do it properly, or rig it so as it answers it properly and discus come out on top. Maple Street Aquatic says, Scott, nice job in the pumpkin carving. Yes, in fact, we should show this off, shouldn't we? Let me see if I can find it. So we did have some good old... There we go. I think that was your effort, wasn't it? Your pumpkin carving effort last week, Scott? That's pretty epic. Mine was nowhere near like that. That's what I dressed up as Halloween. Hey, you guys! That'll make sense to maybe 3 people. I just saw something else. Oh dear, there's Courtney's current situation at Fishman Aquatics. Oh dear. Did you tell us? Is it fixed? Is it still ongoing? Hopefully it's not. Callum there repping the "this sucks" beanie because it does indeed suck. Oh dear. It's never good. Jennifer's just announcing her travel plans. Be in Preston tomorrow, but doubt I'll have time to visit Oldham. That's a shame. I was about to make a very similar comment, Paul. Borholic says, there's not much to see in Preston. There is no debate, Courtney. The Angels are definitely not better. You're just all bullies. There we go, Phil. How to make friends and influence people. I have Angels as well, but I must say the discus are miles better, and I never thought I would say that. There you go. What shop is your shop, Courtney? So Courtney is an unpaid volunteer or chief couch sitter at Fishman Aquatics in Oldham. So friend of the channels, Fishman Aquatics in Oldham. If you're ever in the Greater Manchester area, it's definitely worth a visit. You might see Courtney on a couch. But you'll also see Callum and Reese, no doubt. Also friends of the channel. Definitely worth a visit. I'm hoping to pop over myself soon, because they've had a lot of... right, shameless plug time. Fishman Aquatics is now selling Aquarium Adventure foods, so I want everyone to go and visit. So you can see my shelf of my fish foods. It's ace. But they've been doing a lot of work recently. I know I've been following behind the scenes, seeing all the tanks being moved around, the shop being fitted and refitted and then moved. There's talk of it being developed upstairs and doing some work up there, but it looks very different to the last time I was there. So I know you guys need a restock, so I might personally deliver it and come and do another video and show everyone the changes. Because it looks really good, so I'm not being paid to say this. As much as I am friends with them and they are stocking my fish food, they're not giving me anything to say these things. I would say it's definitely worth there are just shops out there, local fish shops, that are just worth putting that little bit of effort in for, because they're not the big box stores that have just got fish there. These are people who are passionate about it, and they're putting effort and thought and care into providing a really good service for people, so they need to be supported. Otherwise they'll stop existing and they'll just go away, and that doesn't benefit anyone. So I mean, I might do that, like get everybody we might set up a channel in Discord to promote your local fish shop. So where you have a local fish shop across the country, across the world, wherever it might be, if it's one that's worth making a little bit extra effort. And I've always said my favourite fish shops was Sustainable Aquatics in Rotherham. So if you're in that neck of the woods, that's one that's really worth visiting. It's they've taken it to heart. It's one of their deep-rooted starting point says sustainable aquatics. They've called it that, but it's not just because it's a good buzzword. It's an ethos that they follow through every aspect of their shop and the fish that they sell and the fish that they get to be able to sell. That's great, and that alone would probably be worth it. But when you go there, they go the extra mile. They take extra effort. They have like these blackboards above. Oh, they've got a big central island for how they keep their stock. And above each bank of tanks is like a blackboard, if you like. And they change it constantly. It's loads of information about the fish, where they're from, what kind of conditions they like. So it's not relying on... It's just there in front of you. Good information. It's not your pets at home. Oh, remember, buy your fish tank on a Monday and then leave the water for 2 days to make it perfect for your fish. It's actual good solid information about how to keep those fish, and the next time it might be, well, this is how these fish are raised. They started stocking discus from a local discus breeder that they found, and they've got loads of information about the water parameters that the fish are bred in and kept in, and some suggestions for how you might keep them. And that for every bank of fish sales, I think is a great idea, and they really are sticklers for making sure everything that they do provide is sustainable. They look into the history of everything there. They don't just blindly follow every great cause out there that's in the fish keeping world. They've thought about Project Piaba and all these things, and these are the ones we support and these are the ones we don't necessarily support, and so that well worth a follow. Fishman Aquatics, those guys are working their behinds off to get the best customer service out there, to stock the right things, to give the best advice. They're not selling goldfish. They're trying to get their own campaigns and their own videos about smashing up goldfish tanks and things like that. It's brilliant. These are the people we want to keep in the hobby and the retail side of the hobby, so as we can get more and more people coming in. They're not just... There's some terrible fish shops in Sheffield. There's a couple of good ones, but there's some awful ones as well where it depresses you to go into them, and you just don't want to ever go back to them again. You think, why are these people in business? The joy has been sucked out of them many moons ago. Like, just give me the keys, I'll run the bloody shop for you. So I was thinking about doing something along there where I could maybe do a tour of the UK and visit these little special places, because there's loads of them. I think they're a different category than your wharfs or your pier aquatics. Is your... I want to say regular fish shop, but your smaller independent fish shop that's run by a small team who know their stuff, who are trying their hardest, and they want the best out there. They're not just trying to make a quick buck, because I don't think there is a quick buck to be made. They deserve a little bit of support, so I'd like to go and visit them. And I know there's loads out there. I keep seeing them like being visited by people, and people do little reports on them, or YouTube videos is another way. So I might do that as well, and go and visit some of these ones and see why they're good, and give them a little bit of a hand if I can at all. Because, yeah, if you're in Oldham, go to that one. But if you live in Glasgow, you're not going to get there very often, are you? So there must be good ones in Glasgow, there must be good ones in London, in Wales, wherever it might be. I've gone off at a bit of a tangent, haven't I? Anyway, I hope that makes some kind of sense. Pandagara beat all other fish. They are super cool. I will agree that they are super cool, but discus are in the category of all other fish. They don't beat discus. The Cheshire cat, that was Scott's cat. That was Scott's pumpkin. Did you see me suggesting you do the truffle shuffle with the sloth mascot? I did see something about that. I was going to pick you up on that, because it wasn't Sloth that did the truffle shuffle. It was Chunk that did the truffle shuffle. And it's so, and I don't think I can do the truffle shuffle anymore. Yes, Goonies, definitely. Right, where did we get to? Sorry. Jab's in. Hello, Jab. Did you think you tend to turn up when there's a giveaway? I hadn't even announced it yet. But hackers are better than everything. Well, they're a close second to Discus, definitely. Do you know of any good Discus YouTubers, says Michael Machos? Well, no, good Discus YouTubers, right? I don't know, to be honest. I do watch most people who keep Discus and try and follow the Discus world, should we say. I know that Aquarium Co-op, they have Dean, the fish breeder who goes to Peru and collects some wild Discus and now is breeding those wild Discus. So he's more of an Instagram. I don't think he has a YouTube channel, and I like following his stuff. But Aquarium Co-op does show him on their videos quite often, and you get to see the Discus there. I know George Farmer now has a Discus tank, so it's a very nice Discus tank, so you can see that there. But I don't think he's necessarily a Discus guy, but we'll get him converted. He's had them for about a year now, so he must do. But yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if there are any. This channel used to be called Discus Newbie, because I thought, yeah, there you go, drill down to that niche. Because that was really all I kept, but I've kind of spread out into a bit more everything else. Apologies. So there probably are some out there, and if you find any, let me know. I'm interested in finding some Discus YouTubers too. Loads of stickers done, Graham. Be with you next week along with your t-shirts. Apologies for not having. No worries. As long as that's great. If they're coming next week, that's brilliant. Thank you very much, Phil. Phil, if you don't know, another of my moderators, he makes my merch for me. So this super, get out of the way. So it's not just like screen printed t-shirts like normal merch. This is all proper embroidery, and this one's really good. So it's the cock t-shirt, but you can get all manner of designs all on my website, and Phil's the man that makes them. So if you have any printing needs for your company, your business, your YouTube channel, your whatever it might be, get in touch with Phil. I'm sure he'll do you a stonking deal. I've just been distracted there. Chief Mod Jennifer's posted a picture. We've got Harley Quinn. That's excellent. Well done. Chris, I've lost a bit of faith in my LFS. They've branched out into selling reptiles, but they aren't keeping them in suitable vivs. Yeah, it's a shame when things like that happen. I mean, I don't think... I was going to say something along the lines of when they diversify, they drop in quality, but there is a kind of symbiosis, is that the right word I'm going for? Where aquatics and reptiles often get lumped into the same sort of category, and it's the same sort of people that keep the same sort of things. For instance, I kept lizards for a long time as well. Snakes, frogs, reptiles. I've had skinks, geckos, anoles, tree frogs, all kinds of stuff. But I make videos about the fish, and I must admit, even in the YouTube world, whenever I showed a video about my snake, it would be like, oh, views, snake video. I guess it's a bit the same where if you've go into a shop that just sells reptiles, you assume that they're a reptile specialist. If you go to a shop that just sells fish, you assume they're a fish specialists. It is perfectly possible to be a specialist in both arenas, but it just doesn't always happen, I guess. Especially if they're not keeping them in suitable conditions, as Chris is saying, which is a shame. Kaylee loves her not quite local shop in Burstall with the fabulous name To Friends and Soggy Homes. That is a good name. I'm just going to copy that so I can Google it. Idiot. Friends and Soggy Homes. See, there you go. Right, if anyone's listening, let's set up an extra chat for good LFS recommendations, and then maybe one day I'll get around to visiting some of these. Just remind me to do that at some point. When are you sorting this UK Tropical Fish Day seminar show talk? Oh yeah, we were going to have FishCon, weren't we? I don't know. We'll need to open up negotiations about that one again, see if we can get some ideas going. I know Reese and the guys over at Fishman Aquatics were talking about doing something, so maybe we could have some kind of open day when they open their gallery, if you're still doing a gallery, I can't remember. And we could use that as the kick-off and see if there's much interest in it. I don't know. Tim's here. Sorry I'm late, everyone. Been watching some TV with the kids, but here now. That's alright. I was expecting most people to be out at fireworks or bonfire shows or something along that kind of thing. Ooh. Right, am I really behind in the chat? Is that I've been rambling on for quite a while, haven't I? Phil does good cock shirts. Yes, he does. Aquarium Analytics here. Josh is here. Josh, not seen you for a while. Long time no talk indeed. R.I.P. Fish the Grandma. Have you given up? There's no staying power, Josh. Come on. Right, Kaylee's now. I don't know if you're bragging or humble bragging about the amount of times you've won the giveaway. Shall we do it? I should start off by saying apologies to everyone. There's a pile over there of parcels for the last 2 weeks giveaways that still haven't gone out. I got very, very behind. So they've got to go out, but we'll do another giveaway shortly. And it was indeed because of you, Kaylee. We both named the prize wheel after you and changed the rules to stop people winning 2 weeks in a row. There we go. We've got some recommendations from Michael. Scheller Aquatics, Discus Divana, Discus Review, and the Discus Talk are all the Discus channels. I'd never heard of any of them. Shows you. I obviously didn't put much effort in when I've been looking for Discus videos on Tinterwebs. Hello everyone from across the pond. Hello Trevor, how are you? Right, I think I've got to the bottom now, even though it seems to keep hanging on me. I don't know quite where that's going. So we had one more question from the Discord, didn't we? That I just glossed over. Most of those parcels are going to Kaylee. I don't think Kaylee's like any of them, have you? You've not won for a couple of weeks. Right, where was I? Why do fish jump out of your aquarium? So, this is something I looked at for quite a while. Most fish will jump given the opportunity, basically. So bettas will jump, and people think, oh, they're not jumping fish. Guppies jump. Why they jump is slightly different to how they can jump. So if your aquarium has a lid, they tend not to jump because they can see through that, and especially if it's a plastic lid, they'll see, well, there's no point in jumping, there's something up there. If they can't see anything there, then there are two reasons they might jump. They might jump just for the hell of it, or they might jump because they're spooked, and that's one way fish will do. Fish will get away from whatever it is, whether it's a predator or a fright from any other reason. Is they'll go up. They'll often pop out and land on the floor. So guppies, swordtails, any of the live bearers, they will all have a dispensation to jump, even up to big things like arowanas and all kinds of stuff. It's just a fact of life. If a fish can jump, it will jump. Discus jump. I know people who have kept discus, and in fact I am a person who has kept discus that have jumped before. I've kept discus in a tank with a lid on it that had a teeny little gap, maybe a centimetre if that, and it found that gap and launched itself to its death. So I think really the only way that you can stop that is if you buy or you keep the fish that are not known for that. So even though most fish can and will jump, there are lots of breeds that don't have that dispensation to want to. Their fight or flight response isn't necessarily to shoot up. It might be to shoot over or shoot down. I've rarely seen things like barbs and that kind of thing. They tend not to jump. Cichlids tend not to jump, but we will spend, well, again, that's not true. I have even seen my bleeding flower horns had a good go at trying to get out once. But some are more predisposed than others, so researching them on that basis, and then your only options there are to keep a lid on to stop them doing that, or to lower the water level, to provide lots of cover, so as their preference is to go for the cover rather than to go for the up to get away. But generally, why do they jump? Because they're scared of something, because something's going on. That's why. But the question, I guess, is more, how do we stop them doing it? So, I don't know if that answers the question, but that is why. Are we still in focus, or are we now out of focus? That better. Water Zoo, there's another recommendation. Water Zoo is good. It has a decent selection with marine, cold and freshwater, and some nice plants and lots of dry goods and nice staff. I think that last bit makes the biggest difference to me, is the nice staff. Good staff go a long way. There's some miserable people running fish shops in my experience. You think, why are you doing it? If it brings you this little joy, why are you doing it? My discus tried to jump out of a bucket into his tank. Yes, that's true. So that's a good example. So a few videos ago, when I was moving my discus over to my temporary fish room, I put them in a bucket. So they were in a strange situation, a little bit extra stress. When I took the lid off the bucket, one of them straight out. That's the situation that makes the fish jump. A little bit of stress, a little bit of fight or flight response. It could be any manner of any number of things that can make it do it. But if it's got a better option, it won't jump out. So that might be the way to solve it. Right, I did say we were going to do a giveaway, so let's do a quick bit of admin. Let's see how many people we've got here at the moment. We're down to 32, so obviously I've bored the hooky off a load of people. Down to 31, even more. But we've got 38 likes, so we'll take that. That's a good ratio. Thank you very much. So remember, if you are joining us here this evening, if it's your first time here, we do this live stream weekly, or almost weekly. But there's other videos that come out also hopefully weekly, if not more. So consider subscribing if you like. The videos are a lot more fishy based. The live streams go off on all kinds of tangents. We never know what's going to go on. But if you turn up for the live streams, there's often a giveaway or two. And if you don't like that kind of thing, click the subscribe button and you can catch the videos. Click the notification bell and then you catch even more videos. And if you don't like that kind of thing, or do like that kind of thing, you can join us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Discord. Go to Discord because that's the most active of them. There's lots of people in there doing lots of things to help people out, to share pictures. Not just if you're a problem, just come and show us your tanks. We want to see all these pretty fishies, dogs, cats, whatever it matter is. That's all good stuff that is available there. If you want to, and you do like this stuff, you can support the channel by clicking the subscribe button. If you want to support the channel even more, you can click the join button. That's just down there if you're on a PC, I think, or over here if you're on a phone. I can't remember, I'm making most of this up. And then you can get money off at my website. So if you want to buy any merch or any food, you get 10% off if you're a hero member of the YouTube channel. But you also get extra emojis, as Jennifer has just put out there for the elite. You get all these emojis, so you can spam us with cocks and please and all that kind of stuff. And early access to videos, all those good things. So once you've done all that, and you come on one of these live streams, you can have a chance to win some stuff. So we're going to do a giveaway. I'm not going to do the Kaylee wheel tonight because I have an excess of foods that we're going to give away some food. So I mentioned this last week, we had to put the prices up a little bit. So this is your chance. If you don't want to pay for the new price of the foods, you can win some. So I'll do you a goodie bag of the food. Let me see if I can load up the website that we need for that, and then we'll transition over there. And we'll do a wee giveaway. Everyone likes a giveaway, so make sure eligibility, mods, regulars, channel members, users, and then I'll press a button and we'll roll it and someone will be a winner. But we have to pick a keyword. So what keyword shall we use? If you're still awake, Courtney, tell us what keyword to use. And then all we have to do is meet the bare minimum requirements of being here and still being awake. You have to be a subscriber. You have to click on the like button to like the stream. And you have to be a human who lives in the world. So you can get it for free if you live in the UK. If you don't live in the UK, you have to be willing to pay the postage. So hopefully that's clear. So who are we saying? We've got Jump, suggests Scott. That's a good one. So we'll use keyword, enter the word jump. If you want to win some free stuff, just type jump. Just like that. J-U-M-P. Jump. Type it in there and I'll send you, if you're the winner, I'll send you a goodie bag filled with some goodie foods. You have to, I forgot a rule. You have to email me and tell me you won and tell me where you live. The amount of people that win these things and then don't email me and tell me that they won or where to send the stuff. I got one a few weeks back saying, I won your competition 6 weeks ago and you've still not sent me my stuff. I was like, I'm terribly sorry. Where do you live? I'm not telling you where I live. How can I send you your stuff if you don't tell me where you live? So if you're not willing to tell me where you live, don't enter. Right, man down. If you're not a lucky person, you can still get a hold of my foods. You just have to go to aquariumadventures.co.uk and you can purchase some. Available at all good shops. Well, one good shop. Available at I've forgotten the name of your shop now. Fishman Aquatics, there we go. Available at Fishman Aquatics in person. The only place selling it retail at the moment. I think if you go to a couple of specialist breeders, they might give you some free samples of my food. Okay, someone's put something in the Discord channel. Have you asked a question? Pardon me. Fry foods. Best options for breeding your own food. Oh, right, Daphne versus brine shrimp, etc. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute then. I'll give you everybody... Oh, God, that's so gassy. I'll give everyone another minute. We're doing a giveaway if you've just joined. If you're one of the... No, it's not moved. 33 people. If you've just joined us, we're doing a bit of a giveaway. I'm going to send you a goodie bag of fish food. Now I can't find the bleeding thing. There we go. Nightbot. Just have to type jump into the chat and you've got a chance of winning. You only have to type it once. Typing it more than once actually diminishes your chances, it turns out. So I think we're about there. 23 eligible users. Are we ready? Shall we have a drum roll? I don't know if that worked. I really need to spend some time setting up this place. Right. 3, 2, 1. Jab 1609, you have won a goodie bag. It's like a competition between you two. Congratulations, Jab. Again, still have to email me. You still have to tell me where you live and I'll send you your stuff. And if you didn't manage to win anything tonight, remember, you can always still buy it. Congratulations, congratulations. Right, let's go back to Scooby's question, which I've already forgotten what it is. There you go, down here. Best options for breeding your own food, Daphnia versus brine shrimp, etc. So I've never cultured anything other than brine shrimp myself. Daphnia I have bought and kept going for a while, and I'm assuming that they bred in there because I did keep them going quite a while. But for fry food, baby brine shrimp, absolutely fantastic food for almost anything. So most fish will eat baby brine shrimp, and it's fairly easy and straightforward to culture and grow baby brine shrimp. Like I say, Daphnia and other things like that, I've never actually cultured it from start, but I've bought some and kept them going for a while. So if baby brine shrimp is too much of a faff for you, well, this is a bit of a faff as well, but the next easiest or the next best thing would be some kind of worm culture. So you get yourself a big 2-litre tub of ice cream, put in a bit of soil, put in a bit of bread, or put in whatever it might be, and you buy a starter culture from somewhere that you can then grow up in, whether it's grindle worms, white worms, micro worms, any type of basically these little worms. As long as you've got somewhere that you can keep this, because they do tend to stench after a while. That, baby brine shrimp, fantastic fry foods, but also fantastic foods for most fish, because even though fry will eat them, the adults will eat them as well. But they would be my go-tos as the easiest ones to keep going, at least. So baby brine shrimp, you can reuse that and keep them going in a cycle constantly. You do have to harvest them, which kind of not kills it all, but you harvest your worms and then you set it up again and start again. Whereas with worm cultures, like white worms and grindle worms and things like that, you set up your container, whatever it might be, and you harvest by scooping some out. It then continues, so you don't have to break it down and start it again. You just keep taking little bits of it, and as long as you can keep them going, it's a really easy thing to do. It does stink a little bit that tends to be why it's going off, if it starts to stink. But it can be a bit stinky. It can be a little bit temperamental to temperature, so it needs to be the Goldilocks effect. It can't be too hot, it can't be too cold. But if you can keep a worm culture going, that's really good. One of the things I kept meaning to try was things like, I can't remember the bleeding name of it. I think in the US they're called vinegar eels, but they've got another name over here. That was something I was going to try, but I never quite got round to, so we might start that up again. But that would be my go-tos. Things like keeping brine shrimp through to adulthood, I've never really seen a benefit to that. Things like Daphnia, I couldn't sustain it long term. I think the longest I got to keep them was for a few weeks before it just crashed and everything died. Things like black worms are really good, but you really need to keep them cold if you want to keep them going for a while. I mean, you can chuck a load in, they'll bury themselves in the substrate and they'll live in there for a while. But if you're trying to culture black worms, you need to keep them in the fridge and things like that, and it's just I wouldn't go with that. It's the micro worms that I think are the best ones, the really small ones, like your white worms, your grindle worms and your things like that. You can just keep chucking in a bit of powder or a bit of bread or whatever it is. That'll keep your culture going for weeks and weeks at a time. And all really good fry foods. My go-to fry food, though, isn't a live food. So my go-to fry food for things like unfussy things, so in my case I use it for all my guppies and endlers and things like that, is... I don't have a good example, but basically I'll use the end of my fish food bags that's got all the dust and all the crumbs and crumbly bits, put them in one of my tubs, shake it up really hard and just smash it into like a dust, and then use that to feed the fry, and that works really well. And I've been doing that for years, because there's always the little bit at the end of the fish food bag that I just collect them all, keep them all in a big tub and feed that to every tank. Fry, it's mostly for the fry, but every fish eats it. And it's a really good mix because you've got a little bit of algae wafers, you've got a little bit of I don't know, flake food, a little bit of sticky tropical food or spirulina powder or whatever it might be. It's all in the same place, so it's a little bit of everything. It's a really good balance, so you can't go wrong with it. So hopefully that makes sense. Right, let's go back to the comments. Fix, it's a fix. Yeah, definitely a fix. That's you banned from next week's winning. Meowing in the background goes, my cat here. Or is that one of your many cats, Jennifer? Discus are the best. Here's a sensible person. Michael, discus are the best. Very personable. They even let me touch them. Yeah, my discus eat out my hand. Or they did. They've got a bit skittish. I don't know if you've seen my latest video. I've got some tank problems. I'm trying to buy a new tank for them. So they're in a temporary tank, which was bare bottom, and that seems to have turned them into giant Jessies. They just hide all the time. So I've put in some decoration, I've put in some sand, and now they're back to their old selves. They're all up at the front of the glass when I come into the garage. They want feeding. You do have to be careful. I'm sure you know all this stuff, but you do have to be careful if you're touching fish to make sure you've not got any crap on your hands that you're going to put onto the fish, because all the fish have slime coats, and touching them can damage those slime coats, and the slime coats is the protection for the fish, and it makes them more susceptible to diseases and irritations and things like that. But yeah, they are very, very good fish. I do like feeding the discus out of my hand. Jennifer says, I found Daphnia crashed. Yeah, I guess that's what I was trying to say. Well, I could never really culture Daphnia. I couldn't get them to start from nothing. I always had to buy them and then try and grow that culture that I had bought. I never really did it. Best brine shrimp hatching method. It's the same one you'll see all over YouTube. I've made a couple of brine shrimp hatcheries, DIY versions, but basically you get a 2-litre bottle, or some variety of bottle like that. Put in some salt, put in some eggs, put in an air line, a little source of heat or light. Give it a couple of days, and then you go. There's your brine shrimp. Phil's agreeing with you. Very personable, 100% right. Microworms are easy with instant mashed potatoes. Yes, I have used that. I even did potato scones once. A mouldy potato scone. That went down really well with one of my worm cultures. A pop bottle is the best cheap option for a brine shrimp hatchery. Indeed, I would say that. I'm hearing buy brine shrimp eggs and just keep hatching fresh. Yeah, I mean, you can buy brine shrimp eggs, like a bag of brine shrimp eggs that will last you for years. They all make various claims about potential. Well, I don't know this for true, but I've heard that it's all nonsense. But you'll see if you look on eBay, for instance, so buy brine shrimp eggs with a 97% hatch rate, or no, we've got a 98% hatch rate. I've been told that that's just people making up numbers, and there's no way to determine the hatch rate of a particular set of eggs. But take that with a pinch of salt. I don't know whether that's true or not. But yes, you can buy a big bag of brine shrimp eggs and then culture them for months, if not years. You can also buy decapsulated brine shrimp eggs, which or you might hear decap shrimp. You might have heard it under that term, that you can just feed for fry. I raised a bunch of discus fry on decap. I couldn't be bothered with the faff of trying to raise the baby brine shrimp. I just fed them decap and they were absolutely fine. Great. I don't grab hold of discus, just a tap and no crap on my fingers. Quite right. Fun fact, sea monkeys are brine shrimp. Yes, they are. I did have a tank that I kept brine shrimp into adulthood. I don't know where I was going with that. That's the end of my story. I just had a little one of those 7-litre tanks, chucked in some brine shrimp, and they stayed in there for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I had some big old proper brine shrimp, but nothing would eat them when they got to a certain point. I'm sure if I had Humphrey, my flower horn, he would have eaten them by that point. Right, anyway, where did I get to? Pardon me. So, future plans. I'm going to sort out this tank. I have had a reply from NACD Aquariums. They've now given me a price for my replacement discus tank in the hall, I suppose. The big discus tank. And a bunch of fish room tanks. So I need to have a think about that and when we're going to do that. Got the garage door coming for the garage fish room. That'll then let me build the walls and build my fish room. I went on a bit of a Facebook marketplace thing the other day. I saw, Scott, you'd posted that really quite excellent deal that you found on Facebook. I almost think I was this close to gazumping you and going, I'll have that. 200 quid for those aquariums, yeah, I'll have that. But I didn't in the end. But it did start me looking at monster tanks, and like I found a couple of 8-foot tanks, 8 foot by 3 foot by 2 foot, a couple of 10-foot tanks, and then that made me look at just building my own tank out of plywood and epoxy in it and all that kind of stuff. So I've tied myself in a bit of a knot as to what I want to do in the fish room. I've also tied myself in a bit of a knot of, if I find one of these 10-foot tanks, how the hell am I going to get it here? I'm going to need to hire like a bunch of people to come and help me lift the bloody thing into a van. Hiring a van's fine, but it's just me, and I don't think my wife's up to the task of moving these big massive aquariums with me. So, if anyone's offering, you want to come with me to pick up some massive fish tanks, that might help me make my mind up. So, if you find any big deals on Facebook or Gumtree or anything like that that you think I might be interested in, by all means, ping me on Discord, on Facebook, on whatever. Say, I found this, Graham. Is that the kind of thing you're after? That might be quite useful. But I'm really in a bit of a holding pattern. I need to get the fish room finished, but I need to get the garage door sorted before I can finish the fish room. And then that's the big thing. But in terms of videos, I've got loads of videos backed up. Oh, this is one of the things I was thought about doing. A daily videos of December, just all little jobs that I need to do, because I've got lots of little things that I need to do that aren't necessarily, they don't justify a video in and of themselves, but they could be little daily, almost like shorts, but not shorts, because I can't be arsed with the whole aspect ratio changing thing. But like packing orders, how I process my orders and fish food and all that kind of stuff. Like the resealing of a tank the other day that I did. Maybe setting up a few tanks in the fish room, moving around some stuff in the fish room, setting up air lines, setting up central air system, setting up the HMA filters and the water change systems and all that kind of stuff. Little jobs, little daily tasks. I thought, daily December, I like the alliteration of that. So if I posted a daily video every day in December, I could even get started now and get a few in the bag, ready to go, that I could just release. All things like little reviews of things, and mix it up so it's not all just the same stuff. What do you think of that? I thought that might be a nice idea. Advent, yeah, like an advent calendar sort of video thing. I can use the best price message, definitely. Yeah. Is that Phil suggesting? What's that? Would anyone be interested in an Aquarium Adventures 2022 calendar ordering through Graham? Hey, that's a good idea. Get my camera out and take some nice pictures. God, you're full of great ideas, Phil. Where would I be without you? I'd still be selling crappy t-shirts. That wouldn't. That is a good idea. So, yes, let me know if you're interested in that kind of thing. That would be interesting. Some little Playboy style calendar. Oh, nobody wants that. A fish calendar. Yeah, that would be a good wee Christmas prize giveaway type thing. Or you can order one if you want, yeah. Here comes number 2, son, with no clothes on. Don't worry, no one can see you. Unless I move the camera like this. You're good to go, Stuart. It's fine. They can't see you. Yeah, calendar. That would be a good idea. But what do you think of the daily videos as well? Let me know what you think to these things. I started making a video the other day that just descended into complete shambles because I've been looking at YouTube Shorts and things like that. Obviously, I started posting them onto TikTok as well, so I joined TikTok. And just having a look around TikTok at all the other aquarium things, it's like, oh my god. There's some really funny stuff there as well, I must admit, but God, there's some awful, cringy, terrible, bad husbandry, way more than you can find on YouTube. But yeah, I don't know whether I want to make another of those Aquarist Reacts type videos, because it's basically just me going, look at this idiot, or look at that. So I was trying to find some good ones as well to weave them all in. So that might be another video that's coming out soon. But I don't know, I need to find a way to retire. Work keeps getting in the way of all my video ideas, and I never get a chance to do anything. As well as, oh, there's a big bang out there. As well as all the house stuff that needs to be doing. Anyway, I'm rambling now. We're definitely not having AA with his cock out, no. Or strategically placed merch. This isn't like the WI type thing. Definitely not doing that. Right, I'm getting to the end of my final beer, so let's get the last few questions. And then I think we'll wrap things up for the evening. I'm just having a look to see if anyone new has joined us on Discord. So far we've just got Sharpie. Oh no, have we crashed into Maple Street Aquatics stream, have we? Can you, I don't know, shall we try and watch their stream at the same time? That'd be quite funny. Not only are we crashing into Maple Street Aquatics, they've already got more viewers than us. That's depressing. We used to give them loads of viewers at the end of our stream. There they are. God, this is like Inception, isn't it? Diddly-doo-doo-doo. Right, I think that's a cue for us to call it a day, guys. Why don't you hop over and give Maple Street Aquatics some love? Not that they need it, since they've already got more viewers than me. Big Tank Hank's here. Big Tank Hank, you joined us just as we were about to give up. Thanks for joining us. Well, I was just saying, everyone, we'll call it a night there. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for all the chat and interaction. But there's Maple Street Aquatics is streaming right now, so if you want to carry on with your fishy themed evening, jump over there. You can have a look at their stream and join in some more of that. You'll see some of their guys over here, because Scott the Scab will be over there doing some modding for him. But, well, yeah, go over and say hello. Tell them Aquarium Adventures sent you. But thanks for joining us. Thanks for keeping me going. We'll have some more stuff coming for you very soon. New video out this weekend, no doubt. But for now, I think we'll say thank you and good night. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you next week. Stay safe. Cheery bye.